The biggest news this past week that's making waves is Visit Oslo's latest campaign called Is It Even a City? It has racked over 2 million views. It's a video ad, and it embraces the Nordic dry humor. When you see in the ad, you see this very funny, this very, what do you call it, just like a somber, bored, fictional local who goes around the city and he's just downplaying the city. He's making the city sound like it's very boring. He talks about how the city is just small. You can get between places in 30 minutes. There's no long lines, no crowds. It's easy to get around. You can swim in the middle of the river. And he's downplaying a city and saying, "Hey, there are more busier cities like New York and Istanbul." But what's funny is he's saying things that are actually perks, but he's making them sound like they're wrong. But and that goes back to the Nordic dry humor of just like he can't crack a smile, but he's just saying things that you, as someone who's would find, oh, that's great. What are you talking about? Because all the big cities right now are busy with tourists, like New York, Japan. They're all busy, but he is going at it in a anti-advertising way. He is trying to sell you on what Oslo is not, which is a busy tourist destination. And it's very heartwarming because it doesn't do the typical boring locals are so amazing, the locals smiling, that type of tourist ad that we all know of. It can be very off-putting. Because when we see advertisements, the one big problem is that if it can't make you laugh, if you see smiling people, it's forgettable and you find it just so off-putting. Especially if they try and make it seem like locals view the city the same way as a visitor would. When I live in New York, and I don't view New York through a big eye-popping lens that you see very often in ads that try and promote the destination. So this Visit Oslo ad is a very good job of selling you on Oslo, um, without trying to sell you Oslo. And another thing that's pretty good, this overall trend of dry humor is pretty. It's such a fascinating thing about the Nordic destinations. Iceland has done something similar with the metaverse. Where they parodied um, Mark Zuckerberg's metaverse launch. They used this type of somber, like joking, like making something seem like they can do all the metaverse stuff, but they say it's Iceland. And Iceland's a very weird destination because it has volcanoes, it has geysers, it has Blue Lagoon. It's very barren, but they somehow were able to take that metaverse feel and communicate it as if Iceland is a metaverse. And they do it again with another ad about going to space. So when Virgin Atlantic had delays in August, I think of 2022, people couldn't get to take their space trip. So Iceland was like, "Hey, we're an alternative to space. We're basically like the moon. We're basically like a planet. Come check out Iceland." It was very clever and funny. And then another funny one would be Sweden. Sweden did a funny ad where they said they're not Switzerland. It was very clever. They made it seem like they were making an agreement with Switzerland to say we're no longer the same country. We're gonna make that clear. Accept the terms of the condition that you are Switzerland and we are Sweden. They did with this very serious tone. As which is what the Nords are very good. They're very good at communicating, but they make it with this very serious look. And it's like you've come off thinking, "Are you serious?" It makes you laugh and it's memorable and it's silly. So the Nordic humor is it's very clever. It's very impactful, and I think we may see more of these Nordic humor ads. I think Oslo generated a lot of buzz with this ad. We'll see if it works. We'll see what people will visit. But it has made waves across news media, and it is what you would say it's a very successful at what it aimed to do.